Hello everybody, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another Project Life process video. In this video, I'm working on week 35 from 2017. So we are just plugging along, you guys. I can't believe that we are hitting September right now. So like always, I'm going through and placing my photos. And this week I think I took like 25 photos total. That included with my phone and with my Canon, which is kind of unprecedented for me. Usually it's 100, at least 150 to 200 photos in a week. And maybe it's closer to 100, but 20 photos is very small. So I really didn't have a ton to choose from because, of course, some of those photos has like multiples, like one of those photos, I have 3 of each. So yeah, there wasn't a lot to choose from. So I knew that I was going to have more spots, some more 4x6 spots that I could play with for some stories, and also some 3x4, some journaling as well. So I knew that I would have some fun with some of those spots that I don't normally have because I always have a ton of photos. At least that's how I chose to look at it, because going into it, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I only have, if you look at this photo or this layout, I only have 6 photos that I chose. And of all these 6, I think the one on the bottom left of the leaves of the tree, that is, that was with my Canon, but everything else was with my phone. And I can't remember what happened the week before, why there was so little, but I don't know, just one of those things that happened this week. So again, I'm using some of Ali Edwards' product. The title card came from her fun kit, and then the card next to it that says 1, 2, 3, that came from the detail kit. Also, that Yay wood veneer came from the fun kit as well. I really was excited to be able to use that 1, 2, 3 card because I love it, and I've been looking at it. I love the colors, and I was glad that I actually found a way to use it in this week's spread, because I don't always have the opportunity to use 4x6 cards that are just for journaling. So I was happy to use it. So the card that I'm working on right now, this is also going to be a 4x6 card, and it's all going to be about work. So one of the things that I did realize when I was going back at my week and wondering how come I didn't have very many photos, one of the reasons why is my days were full of work. Just had a lot going on, a huge to-do list that I was trying to get through. And so I wanted to really flesh out that idea, and what is it that I do? What is the work that I'm choosing to spend my time on a weekly basis? Because I don't necessarily have a job per se where I work outside the home. So I thought it would be fun for me, good for me to be able to see where I'm using my time. And then also in the future, something maybe my kids would be interested in as well. So some of the things I was writing down, so I'm doing like a mind map thing where I've got, work in the center, and then I'm writing down the places where I'm, seeing work in my life. So there's YouTube, and I'm writing down some of how I spend my time on YouTube. And then I think photos was another one, and calligraphy. And, under there I put practice, because that's something that I'm wanting to learn right now. So that's where I'm putting some of my attention and some of my work time. I've got thoughts. I've been really working on cleaning up and managing my thoughts. My house, how I work at my house. I clean my house. I don't have someone come in and help me with that, though I would love that. And the other thing that I wrote down is a bullet journal. So that's something else that I actively work on as well. So I thought that would be, I really loved the way that card worked out. Those stamps that I used came from Kelly Perky, and you'll see that I'm going to use some of the coordinating stamps to go with that as well, to add just a little bit more color. So now I'm making another journaling card. This was all about, I think it was the high school football game, and I've got a ticket there that I've included. I had information on there that I was not wanting people to see. That's why you saw a little bit of blurriness in this video. So I apologize for that. But once I realized I didn't want that on here, I just went ahead and stuck that Post-it note on there as well. This next card that I'm working on came from In a Creative Bubble, and it says happy on it. And there's, I think, maybe 5 spots where I just wrote down, things that made me happy this week. So 5 things that made me happy. And it was just a sentence each, but, just a little something to kind of talk about what was going on this week, which I think is really important, seeing as how I don't have a lot of visual things from this week to really kind of share what was going on with this week. It's all about the words. So it was fun to be able to do something like that. And it's kind of, happy card is kind of like a gratitude card as well. You can kind of see it very similar. So you can see that I took that 4x6 card, the 1, 2, 3, and I wrote 2 stories. Now I hadn't written down the third one. And I think if I remember correctly, it's because I had an idea of one that I wanted to write down, but you can see that I don't have as big a space. So I was thinking that maybe I would want to write it down on one of the 3x4 cards that would allow me more room and more space to tell that story. So I think I'm just trying to decide what more to add to this spread. I'm looking for cards, maybe like a filler card. Specifically, if you've noticed, I'm looking for some pinks or some reds, something that will kind of pop, that will help the title card pop, because that has red in it as well. You can see that's one of the reasons why I have that red number card sitting out, just because it kind of pops, and I thought it would be something that would be good to add to this week. So I'm just going through the cards. These cards came from Studio Calico, and they are a lot of different weeks. It's not just one week, but it's a lot of different weeks all together that I just like grabbed my stash and was looking through that. So sometimes I'm looking for a card, specifically for a journaling card. And sometimes I am just looking for like a filler or a designer or one of those cards that I can just slip in the pocket. And it's nice to know if you're looking for a specific color, or if you're, if it doesn't really matter and you're just looking to tell a very specific story. And so you're looking for a specific prompt. So those are a couple of the things that when I'm working or I'm looking through my cards, what I'm looking for. It's either a prompt or it's either, a specific color or something like that. Just, so you have that in mind. Maybe that will help you when you're looking through yours as well. So I'm just nearing the end. I'm trying to figure out what more I want to do to this spread. I really like that card with the triangles. I like the colors. I thought that they went super good with the cards that I picked from Allie. And now I have a chipboard set from Studio Calico as well. So I'm just pulling out some of the things to see if I can get any of them to work, see how I like it. And you can just see me kind of messing around and moving things and putting it in place and taking it off. And that's basically what I do as I work through. And it's nice that you can do that without having to really like commit to something right away, because you're not like gluing it down. So that's kind of nice to be able to do that. So I decided that I wanted to add a little bit of color to the word work. And so I got the coordinating stamps that go inside the alphabet. And one of them, I can't remember, one of them's called Miranda and one of them's called Dalton, I think. Both from Kelly Perky. I'll have them linked below if they are still available. And it's like a little grid pattern, or it's little dots. I think it might be like a square pattern or something like that, but they kind of look like little dots. So I'm using the red ink from, I'm trying to think what it's called, the red ink from Studio Calico, and just added that there. So that's giving me another pop of red. So remember how I was looking for a red card? You can see that the reds are really standing out in this layout, which is what I want. Now, that's not something I always think about, but sometimes I do. But you can see that it makes a difference, right? To have these little bits and pieces of red, it kind of helps your eye move through the layout a little bit easier. So I think it's at this point that I decided to add, I didn't like all that white space up at the top, so I decided to add one more, since I had kind of figured out and came up with an idea of one more thing that I wanted to add to that work card. Really love the way that worked out. Definitely want to do something more like that again. I think that was a really great use of the space. So now I'm just doing my title card where I used the roller date stamp, and then I stamped it down, and then I just put through in between. And now you can see me just going back and forth a little bit. I've got the two more 3x4 slots that I am working through, and you'll see me going back and forth. So I hope you never worry about, or don't let it bother you when you find yourself a little indecisive, because other people are indecisive too. That's definitely something I need to work on in my life, is being a little bit more decisive when it comes to these little decisions, because it's not rocket science, and it's not 100%. I don't think that anything is necessarily 100% perfect. I think you could do something 10 different ways and it would look really good. So I try to remind myself of that all the time, to just allow myself to enjoy the process. And I don't think I was, and I don't mean to sound like maybe I was stressed. I don't think I was stressed, but I do think looking watching myself work, it's interesting to see how I imagine, my mind was working through this, just trying to decide which products to go where. But I just wanted to remind you guys that it's not rocket science. This is supposed to be a lot of fun, right? So when something's holding you up because you're just not sure if you should do this color or that color, or tell this story or that story, what I'm trying to say is I just don't believe that you really can get it wrong. So I don't know. That's just something that I thought that I should share, because I think maybe I need to remind myself of that as well. So the last story that I'm telling, I think I finally figured out exactly what I want to do, is the Here's What Happened card that came from the Details Kit from Ali Edwards. Really love this card. I feel like I want to clone it so I can use it some more, because I think that prompt is really great and a lot of fun. Anyway, you guys, I am finished with this spread. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope you guys were able to get a bit of inspiration from this, and that there are some things that you guys will be able to use on your own project life. If you like what you saw, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely do so you can get updates. All right, you guys, I will catch you in the next video. Bye.